I knew that one thing I didn't know where to go with that. But I just kept having these questions in my mind, and I knew that one thing I wanted was to quit smoking, because I had started smoking when I came in the airlines, and that was years ago when that was the in thing to do. And actually, we even served little packets of cigarettes on meal trays, and I just hated the fact that I was addicted to those cigarettes. And so I quit on a regular basis. And one day I found an article in a magazine about some breathing exercises that would help one quit smoking. So I found the teacher, and she was a yoga teacher, and she taught me these breathing exercises, and she taught me some stretching exercises. And I wanted to be able to do these exercises other than once a week when I went for classes. So I found some books. I found a book on breathing exercises and stretching exercises. I found a book on meditation and focusing techniques. And I put together this routine of things that I started doing on a daily basis. And my whole life changed. Just gradually, I started feeling, my energy started increasing. I started feeling younger. My mind started becoming clear. And then I started knowing things that I had no way of knowing. And so I thought, this is very interesting. And I thought, maybe if I got quiet and asked questions, I'd get some answers. And so I started experimenting with that. And sure enough, I got answers, and they were right on. And so then I started asking bigger questions. And one of the questions I asked was, what's life really all about? I had seen a bumper sticker that said, he who dies for the most toys wins. I thought, I think it's got to be something more than that. So anyway, I was questioning everything in those days. So one day, I did my routine every day, and then once a week I would have a day of total silence. And one day when I was working with this all-day situation that I had created, I said, I was wide awake, I had just meditated, I had worked with the stretching exercises and meditated. And then I said, dear God, if there is a God, as I said, I was questioning everything in those days. I said, dear God, if there is a God, I really want to understand what this is all about. What's life really all about? Why are we here? What should I do? Why am I here? And I got just the clearest understanding about how it all works. It was just absolutely amazing. I could see that there is just this wholeness. And everyone and everything in existence is a part of this wholeness. We are not separate. And I could see that this wholeness is just pure love. And I could see that this love is being expressed through energy and is being governed by intelligence. I could see that there's simply a field of intelligence that moves and forms energy. So that I realized that that's how Maslow's self-actualized people could fulfill all their needs within themselves, because if they understood how the process works, which I had understood at that time, I realized I could create anything. It was just amazing. And I realized that there are laws of nature, or principles of life, that governs how we ourselves are actually creating whatever it is we experience in our lives. And if we understand how it works, and we align ourselves with these principles, we can actually create anything. So I thought, I have to experiment with this. And of course, I knew that it was very clear that my purpose was to understand this and share it with others. So I thought, okay, if I can create anything, what I want to create. And I could see that there's a process, that there's what I call now the 7 steps in the creative process for creating anything. It works the same way regardless of what we want to create. And I'll just tell you what those 7 steps are. But the first step is clarity. We had to get clear about what it is we really want. And the second step is visualization. We have to be able to see it in the mind's eye. And then we have to be able to accept it. And then we have to focus our attention on it and become quiet and still and listen for intuitive guidance. We follow through with the guidance and we manifest it. So I thought, okay, if that's how it works, let me see what I can do. So I wanted to make this experiment as big as I could possibly imagine. So I decided that I wanted my own place to live. I didn't want a house because I was a flight attendant at the time and I didn't want the upkeep of a house. So I decided what I wanted was a townhouse. But I lived in Minnesota at the time. We didn't have any townhouses in Minnesota. But I had seen townhouses in other parts of the country. So I decided I should have a townhouse for myself. And I thought, okay, if I can create a townhouse, I can create a townhouse development. So I put that into my vision, create this townhouse development with my own townhouse in it. Then I thought maybe I should have 2 townhouses, one to live in and one to rent out. So then I thought, okay, then I need new furniture. And so I got clear in my mind what my new furniture would look like. And of course I went out and found my furniture and visualized it and went through the whole 7-step process. And then I thought, well, I probably should have a new car, and I want a grand piano. So that was as much as I could possibly imagine at that time. So, but I knew it was going to happen, and I knew it would happen within a year. It was just amazing. And so what did happen, I said, okay, what do I do? And what I got was I should get a real estate license. And I thought, well, I don't know, I need a real estate license, there's no townhouses, and that's all I'm interested in. But I kept get a real estate license. So I took the test, got a real estate license, and then I saw in the paper one day, a real estate company was looking for agents. It said, come in and take tests to see if you'll be good in real estate. So I thought that sounded like fun. So I went in, took tests, took about 3 hours. And they decided to hire me. So I went to work for this real estate company. And about 3 weeks later, my boss called me in the office and he said, your tests are back. I said, great, am I going to be successful in real estate? He said, well, you probably will. But he said, you're being totally unrealistic. Well, I knew what the problem was, because one of the questions on the test was, how much money do you expect to make your first year in real estate? So I had put down what I needed for all of these things, and it was in my vision. And he looked at me and he said, do you have any idea how many houses you would have to sell to make that much money? I said, no. Good, I didn't, because I could figure out that I couldn't sell that many houses, that I couldn't possibly do that. But I wasn't figuring it out. I was just following my guidance, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew it would happen within a year. So what actually did happen was, he looked at me, I'll tell you this, he looked at me and he said, I have been in real estate for 5 years, and he said, I have worked very hard at it, and I haven't made anywhere near that much money yet. So I said, okay. I thought I'd get out of his office before he called the man in the little white coats to come get me. And anyway, what did happen was I saw a development that was apartments, I guess, before, and they were converting them into townhouses. So went out and looked at the development, and the developer happened to be there. And I said, have you ever, I wasn't interested in that, but I said, have you ever considered building new townhouses? And he said, yes, I have. He said, in fact, he told me about a development that he had just started. Well, it was out of town, and it wasn't what I was interested in. So I said, well, here's what I want. So I explained to him what I had in mind. I had already visualized where it should be located, the size of the place, and everything about it. It should have a pool, and it should be a small development, and it should be on a street with nice mature trees. And so I knew exactly what I wanted. So I described it to him, and I said, if you'll build this for me, I'll sell these townhouses. And he was pretty impressed that I was so sure I could sell these townhouses, so he said, okay, it's a deal. So what happened in a couple weeks, we decided to work together. A week or so later, he called me and he said, I just got a call from a man who owns a nursery right in the middle, right where you think this townhouse development should be built. And he said it looks like it's just the right size for the townhouse development that you want. Has mature trees around it. It's on a beautiful street. And he said, you want to look at it? I said, sure. So we went out and looked at it. It was perfect. We went back to his office, drew up plans. We actually created a little village under glass so we could show people, because we had no models. So I sold those townhouses with the greatest of ease. It was just amazing, because I was functioning on a totally different level than anything I had ever experienced before in my life. Of course, I had never made anywhere near that amount of money, and I had no idea that I could do the things that I did. Everything just, it went just like that. It was just so easy. And anyway, I sold the townhouses, the first ones that he was converting, and I bought a townhouse in there, and I decorated it, and that was my rental townhouse. And then I had put my townhouse in the new townhouse development, bought all my new furniture and my grand piano and my car and everything. And I made exactly the amount of money that I had told him that I was going to make, and I made it within a year. So, so I knew that I had discovered something extremely valuable, and my purpose in life was to share that with other people. So I thought, actually what had happened during that process is I had stopped doing some of the things that I needed to do to make that possible for me. Just gradually, I got busy, and I started